Okay, guys, very welcome back to the show. I have a returning guest on the show. We were just saying there, it was probably about a year ago when we were in contact. It's Mr. Joe Mansman from the Joe Mansman and the Midnight Revival Band. How are you doing today, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back. Love the show. Thank you. It has
Good
been
to
about
see
a
you,
year.
man. Look, yeah, you've been a busy guy, so I suppose maybe for people that didn't see the last show, we'll just do a quick summary of the band and who you are.
Yeah. My name's Joe Mansman, and I am the lead singer for Joe Mansman and the Midnight Revival Band from Albany, New York. And we've been a band since 2014, and uh, we can fall into the glam rock and sleaze rock territory, but we also, we were well known for southern rock and teetering on metal, and we uh, we we've got 5 records out. Our latest is "Live for Thrills," which came out last October, and we had a lead single on that called "Take It Easy," which was our first major rock radio tune that opens a lot of doors for us. We started doing heavier touring than we have in the past, and yeah, so that was kind of like our first taste of like really doing things a little more legit. We've always been a band that kind of operated on a DIY ethic, because we all came from punk rock and hardcore backgrounds, so we were very in tune with how things are done in that scene. So we were very, even now, I mean, we still operate a lot on our own and do a lot in house, but that was our first kind of taste of going legit, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. And talk to me about America, radio in America. Like it's a huge thing over there, and there's an opportunity for rock bands to be on the radio over there. Like how important is it to try and get onto that, get onto that
Um,
scene, but at the same time not forget your influences and what brought you to the dance in the first place?
For sure. I mean, rock radio in America isn't as huge as it was, even 15 years ago. At least not since the rise of streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music, where you can create playlists. You and I were talking about this before, actually. Um, but there are scenes like CMA and uh, you know, um, not even like metal, but kind of like Sirius XM, where people are still paying for those services and discovering a lot of new music. But uh, we've gone the indie channel now for the past 5 or 6 years, and we've always done really well on college radio, and it's helped us tap into a lot of markets there. But really, like we've our band has really just thrived kind of on streaming. And that's not to say that radio has not been very important to us, because we've made quite a few fans going that route, and like I said, it's gotten us on festival dates, and it's gotten us on support slots for major headliners like Smash Mouth and Scott Stapp and Dokken and Warrant and Quiet Riot and bands like that, because we were pushing
Nice.
rock radio. But when you think of like bands like that, those are bands out of a classic scene where people still like really discover music, in that format. So, you know, right now, music really kind of is just discovered via YouTube and Spotify, and going to shows. So that's how the new generation of fans is really finding new music, and that's kind of what we tapped into. Like basically, when those services already started becoming huge, like when Spotify, for example, became like a major thing, we were right on it. We've always been very adaptable to all of the new forms of media out there, and very in tune with that. So,
Mm.
we were one of the first bands in our local music scene that was already on those things. So, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, radio is important in America, but it definitely like over the last 15 years, a whole lot has changed with that, and has to. I mean, it's really just age, like the age of the fans. And right now, our demographic, because we tapped into the new wave classic rock territory with our genre, we're still able to reach fans, in those ways. But a lot of bands are our age or younger are definitely not, um, you know, they're not really discovering that territory at all. So
Mm. Talk to me then. You're talking about reaching new people, and you'll probably do what I do, go into your demographics, we'll say, from Spotify and see where
Mhm.
around the world are people listening to this band. So what kind of results have you got from doing that?
Well, we have a pretty good fan base in places like, well, mostly South, like Tampa, Florida, Orlando, Florida. Um, then we got, a big fan base in Phoenix, Arizona, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New York City. Um, we even have, a pretty good fan base coming out of places like Germany and the UK, which is why you and I are talking. Um,
Hmm.
so it's like I said, it's the streaming services that really helped us discover that. And a lot of times, what we do too is when we play some of those cities, we even cater our set lists around songs that are most streamed in those territories. So if we're
Yeah,
sitting on an album, for example, that maybe we haven't been playing live in a couple of years, if we know that there's songs on that record that do well in like Boston, Massachusetts, then we'll start incorporating songs like that, into the set list for that night. So that's kind of how we've really been like adaptable to using that technology. It's been awesome.
yeah. Didn't Metallica say that some years back that that's kind of the way that they are operating their sets now as well?
Yeah, yeah. And what? Speaking of Metallica, I just want to say that all these years, Lars was fucking right. I mean, like I get it, like, dude, like, from an artist perspective, I understand. Yeah, I understand what the fans were saying back then when what was it, Napster, that he took the court,
Napster.
right? He had a
Yeah.
lot to say about Napster, I think. But when you when you think about it now, like, bands are definitely not getting paid well on some of these newer services. I mean, yeah, the music is accessible to anybody, and any band at any level should want that. But really, when you think about it, you can have 50,000 plays on a single and make $7. You know what I mean? So honestly, I mean, that sometimes that's even worse than somebody getting your music for free. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess just it's kind of comical to think about the fact that, hey, Lars Lars was right. Everybody gave him shit, but he uh
I
he
was
he was right.
I was kind of like that. I was kind of like that when I got to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I said, "Oh, I'll start making some money now." Fucking
Hmm.
hell, man! I think 100,000 views last year or last month on YouTube, and I think I got paid $22.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
So I know what
you know
world you're in.
we're affiliated with BMI, and every quarter, I think it is, I get a check in the mail for like 80 cents. it's, it's it's funny. In fact, I'm still sitting on a couple that I haven't even cashed yet, but yeah, no, it's
Uh,
it's
and then,
hilarious how that all works. But from what I know, and I'm definitely no expert on this, but I know that a lot of the major labels, they pretty much own services like that. They bought into that stuff right as they saw that
I'm sure they
technology
have.
emerging to protect their master recordings. So it is what it is. It's still fun. Hell, I want my music accessible to anybody around the world at any time, and that's fine. So,
Yeah.
we we just went out on a couple of tours, like I said, and we didn't care to not get paid. I mean, we do well enough in merch that it sustains us just fine. And I'd rather have 50 fans show up to a show in a strange city and sing the words to my song. So
Yeah. Talk to me about how difficult it is, like as a musician, because I'm assuming that all you guys in the band are still kind of working full time, and then this is kind of maybe nighttime weekend stuff for you. Is that right?
yeah, we do all work full time still, and some of us have kids. I've got two little girls that I take care of, and it is tough, but it's all just time management. I've been doing this long before I was a father, and kind of had a system that just worked out really well. And when kids came along, you just kind of incorporated them into the system, and um, so
Adapt.
when we unless we're touring, yeah, I mean, that's really when we take large blocks of time off. But even when we're recording a record, or we're doing just singular or weekend runs, things like that, like around the region, or maybe just doing a quick run down south and back, it's not that bad taking just like 4 or 5 days off or something. um,
Yeah.
but also, what also helps is that we all work in businesses that we've been in for a long time, where our our jobs understand that this is what we do. Like, for me, for example, like, I control my schedule at my job. So it's never really a problem for me to take time off. You know, for some of the others it is, but we always find a way to make it work. And yeah, it's tough, but like I said, you know, you know, we sell, you know, we'll do enough merch, or you know, for local shows, you know, like we'll do enough in a guarantee that, you know, we, you know, it'll basically pay for taking that time off. So
Yeah, excellent. It's nice to have something like that. So I'm gonna play a little snippet of the new song Empire State, and if you just want to fill people in, what's this song about? What does it mean to you, and etc.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So we this song, like I started writing this song when we were actually playing the last date of a tour that we went on in last November. We were out with a band called Texas Hippie Coalition, and the last date of the tour was in Virginia, and we were about 10 hours from home. And around that time, I was just having, you know, like I was just a little stressed out. I had some things going on at home, some personal business, but nothing that was, you know, that I couldn't handle. But you know, it kind of just like, you know, it made my mind wander. I mean, quite a bit, and you know, I was a little anxious to get home, but you know, the lyrics for that kind of just poured out, you know, after that tour for me, and then Dollars, our guitar player, he, you know, he had been messing with this riff that was very much like an ACDC, like in the vein of like some early ACDC, that and we had been sitting on that one for a little bit and just hadn't really had the time to develop it until I had a vocal melody worked out for it, and then we were able to you know, solidify a verse and a chorus at least, and then uh, we found early on in the writing process that it was really the verse that really got listeners hooked instead of the chorus, which is really weird for our bands. You know, like we tend to like try to get into catchy choruses within 30 seconds. But that for that song, you know,
Hooks.
it starts with the riff and instantly goes into a very hooky verse, and uh, we developed it pretty quickly after that, and then we recorded it in 2 days, which was another like miracle for our band. You know, sometimes we sit on, you know, recording material for weeks and weeks and weeks. That one we had 2 sessions for, and it was done. And um, it means a lot to me personally because you know, we had a hard time this winter with every member of the band going through some home things, and you know, just a lot of really personal stuff that I felt like when I wrote that, I wasn't writing it for me, that I was writing it for them. And um, I felt like for the first time as a singer and you know, a lyricist, I was incorporating the feelings of my entire band into a song, and it was kind of like me summing up, you know, all of their problems, and how, you know, like you know, at the end of the day, we were all still in this one thing together, and that's what, you know, that's what keeps us together. So, and the the one of the first times that we had played that song live, we were in New York City on a really rainy day. It rained all day long, and we had to carry gear, you know, for like a mile through the city to get to the venue because we couldn't find any parking. And you know, one of our members shortly after that date quit the band for personal reasons, and so that song then all of a sudden became kind of like another goodbye song, you know, and it was like saying goodbye to, you know, somebody that we loved, and you know, a past that we were a part of that we wanted to separate from. And it's, yeah, so the song took on an entirely new life, you know, once we came back home from that tour. And I don't know, like I'll always associate that song with that time, you know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
so Empire State, it's you know, it's a good solid pop rock tune, you know, very simple arrangement, with the exception that, like, you know, verses and chorus are kind of alternating as far as where the hooks are located. And yeah, and lyrically, like it, you know, it can be really applied to anything. It can be applied to anybody who just is just trying to separate themselves from something that's a little overwhelming to return to something a bit normal, you know, which is why that chorus says, you know, get me on the waves, sail me right back home. Home being whatever you consider home, you know? So whether it's where you live, whether it's the family you belong in, you know, the woman you love, whatever it is, like home is whatever you make it. So that's what that song means to me.
let's give it a lash, as we say here in Ireland.
There's a storm on the rise, all the push and the pull of the summit is fading. Here I am in disguise, bruised to compare all the worries and waiting. Try not to think twice, the sun in my eyes leaves me blind to the shaking. Leave me here on the side of the East Coast highway, and I'll find my way to New York. Get me on the way, sell me right back home. Get me on the way, sell me right back home. Get me on the way, sell me right back home. Get me on the way, sell me right back home. There's a course in the time.
Very hooky, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is certainly something different than what we've done in the past.
And how's the song been received so far? Are you guys going to do a music video for that one?
Yeah, we actually just shot one at one of our festival dates that we just finished this past weekend.
Excellent.
Yeah, so yeah, we shot a video for that, and probably within the week or two we'll be releasing it. And the response has been great. We've had significant radio play actually in the UK. London seems to love it. And of course, at the time of its release, we were only doing local stuff for a while. So, our hometown obviously really into it, and they definitely showed up for our music video. We did kind of like we did a live setting for that music video, and when we announced that we were shooting it for that song, we had a lot of people show up for it and support us. So and that's the really cool thing about our music scene here is that whenever we have put our blood, sweat, and tears into something, the community here has really backed us and stood behind their hometown band, and we've never been short of full support here from people. So it's very humbling.
That's excellent, because I know not every scene is like that, depending on where you are. So it's great to have it.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been a band for a long time, and we certainly struggled for years trying to be in on the scene. Like I said, our band came from a very punk rock background, and when we first started playing, I just don't think people really knew what to do with us. We weren't ever really invited to play with any of the bands and stuff around here. It wasn't until we carved out our own path and started touring, that all of a sudden people started, turning heads and saying, "Oh, who's Midnight Revival Band? This is kind of cool," And now, at least in our capital region here where we live, we do just fine. Now people definitely know who we are, and they always come out to support, and it's been good, at least for the last 5 years for us.
Yeah. The plans going forward, we kind of were talking a little bit off camera there about the singles, and maybe going with singles as opposed to albums. Is that something that you're definitely going with, and you just want to kind of explain the process of doing that?
Yeah, we've released an EP every year for the last several years, and we did a full length in 2017, and we decided for the first time that we're going to explore the singles route. We've never really done it where we just do a single every 2-3 months maybe, but it does seem that that's the way that the music world is going. I mean, listeners, they want to find that one song that they can attach themselves to emotionally and put it onto a playlist, and rather than putting the time and effort right now into into another full length or another EP or something. I'd rather just kind of explore singles for the opportunity to, like, you know, rebrand ourselves every couple of months, you know, start a whole new campaign for something singular rather than something that's a full body of work, you know. So we're gonna try that out and just see where that goes for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is very clever. I think in a way, like you could say, next week I'm going to release an album, we'll say, and there's 12 songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
All 12 songs are out. So you're putting all your songs out at one time. Whereas if you're sitting on a couple of tunes and you're just releasing them sporadically, then it's
Mm-hmm.
fresh for people. Because if you release all those songs at the one time, in 2 weeks' time, your album is old. And people just move on so fast
Yeah.
now, don't they? They just want the newest thing all the time. So I think it's a very good idea, and I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I kind of don't want to put our band in that position again where, you know, we put out like I said, like a catalog of something that we end up having to play for the next 2 years. You know, we're always we're always writing. We are always sitting on a backlog of new material constantly, and we tend to, when we put out a record, we just get so busy playing that record for the next couple of years that, like, some songs that could be great songs for us just live on the back burner and sometimes forgotten about. You know, I remember a couple of years ago, I backed up, you know, 110 songs or so that I had written and never finished. Just because, you know, you just get so busy just supporting one record. So yeah, I just don't want to really do that again, at least not for a while. I kind of just want to pour myself into some singles and really put, you know, as much production and as much just a honed in focus, you know, into one song every couple of months and see where that goes. You know, maybe that's going to be a new way to explore my band for fans and for myself. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna take a look at your website. I think we done this last time, didn't we?
I think so.
Because I think there was something pretty funny on this website last time. I want to see if it's still here. Is it here?
Oh, that's one dirty microphone. That was in Orlando.
More. Ah, the store. That's where we're going.
Oh yeah, we were looking at the thongs last time.
Yeah. Are they still here?
No, we've been out of those for a while.
It's after opening.
Yeah,
it's after opening in a new screen. No, the tongs are gone, but there is a new selection of merchandise there that people can check out. Do you want to just give a shout out to the website?
Yeah, it's the Midnight Revival Band .rocks. Odd domain name, I know, but you know, we lost .com because we
works.
couldn't pay the bills. So .rocks it had to be. And yeah, like I said earlier to you, I might have said this off air, I can't remember, but you know, we started making all of our own merch in-house. So we're constantly refreshing that and updating. So we've got new merch, you know, like every couple of months. So definitely, if anybody gets a chance, you know, check back frequently and see what we got. We do have a couple of really good ones coming.
Excellent. And what's the plan then for the rest of the year? Is that the way you're kind of looking at in a block now? Say we're in July now. What do you want to have done, say, by Christmas time when you're hanging out with the family, putting the feet up?
By Christmas time, I want to get in another tour. Honestly, like this fall is going to be a lot of relaxing for us. I'm going on the Lamb of God Metal Cruise in October with my girlfriend. That's going to be excellent.
That sounds very relaxing. Yeah, very quiet.
Next week.
Excellent.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff, but no, we have a buttload of shows actually for this summer. You know, in lieu of this, you know, the song being Empire State, we filled our summer with New York shows. So we're doing New York for the entire summer. We're doing some festivals in the fall. And then I would love to, at least before Christmas, at least get back out on the road for a week or two.
Excellent. And for anyone that wants to check out the band, I will put all your social media links underneath here because I know you guys are very, very frequent there with your fans and putting up a lot of stuff on Instagram, etc. So listen, Joe, it was a pleasure to chat to you again, and I'm sure we'll be talking again sometime soon. Best of luck with everything, man.
Thanks, Maurice. I appreciate you, man. All right. Keep on rocking in the
Cheers,
free
man.
world,
Thank
brother.
you.
Take care, man.